Welcome to Las Vegas, Nevada. This is Trunkhead with Trunkhead Gaming. Today is the Division 4 and 5 Week 9 recap with the Superfed TV. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm okay. I'm okay. How'd your week go with with all your games and such?
Yeah, it was a good week. Good week. Drew and won and all those fun things.
And Drew and
No
one.
losses. Yeah, no
Just for
losses.
the record, your friendly neighborhood caster, Trunkhead, challenged your his co-caster, to an Elfoff, to a CCL Elfoff. And then the first response was, "Oh my high elves have seen better days." So,
They have. I'm down to fucking six or seven players.
so I retract
But
my
all
my
right,
elf my elf off because you've already built an excuse. Now you're like, well, my team's not in good shape anymore. So-
I still got a one turner. I got a natural one turner.
oh, that's nasty. That's nasty. My CCL Dark Elves, they're 20, almost 2200 TV. I can't find a game for the life of me. Like I will spin for 20, 30 minutes before I just give up. It's fucking crazy.
That happens.
All right, let's get into this. This is Division 5. Division 5, Week 9. Cash Crew Part 2 versus the Three Mountains, humans and dwarfs. I can tell you firsthand that this is not an easy matchup for humans, especially when your loner gets the MVP. That sucks. Wonder if he got hired.
Is anything but elves and Norse a good matchup for humans?
There's not a lot of good matches for humans, that's for sure. I'm going to get into that. I'm going to do the human in depth this week, and
All right.
I'm going to get rid of one of my human teams, I think. 13 armor breaks to 7, plus an expulsion. You don't usually see expulsions on dwarf teams, they don't usually foul. Look at this runner,
Yeah.
54 SPP in the first season. What the fuck, dude? he got,
Movement and blodge.
and he picked up AG4 with his MVP. Good for him, man. Good for him.
He just got Nagio too.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that is a good piece.
15 SPP for Three Mountains, and it looks like 13 for Cash Party. So he got his money's worth out of it at least. Uh, 4 removals on each side, 72 blocks. I can tell you from experience, you don't beat dwarves, you can let them get 72 blocks on you.
That's a lot of basing.
That's a lot of basing. The secret of my success managed to win the admin game. Nurgle FTD's got a big win on the board against the admin. Good for them. I think Sauce has
Much
back.
needed.
Yeah, I think Sauce has back-to-back. I think he's got back-to-back buys too. So, oh, he got Nurgle Warrior MVP and got a level out of that. So that's fucking solid. Block guard. We covered them last week, so that's pretty good for him, man. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Havoc's Henchman, that's another bye weeks for the High Elves. 3 bye weeks in a row there. Skinky Island Boys 2-1 of Necromantic Newbies. I think that I correctly predicted that. You picked the Newbies, didn't you?
Yeah, I was hoping for the upset. He got Wilhelm Chaney, who got the MVP, unfortunately. But I would actually say that was probably closer than you would have bet. So a 2-1 win isn't the worst, considering Necro are bringing up the rear.
There was a death on the Skinky Island Boys. Was it as just a skink like we expect, or was it something important?
Let's check. He had cash, so even if it was a source, it wasn't going to be huge. But let me peek here. I think actually that's 5 matches or 6 matches on that one. It was a source.
Wow.
Nox was killed. Nox 2 is now waiting for his first match. So at least props to the Necromagnues to damage the bank of the Skinky Island Boys. He's down to 30K.
That's making way for the eventual division winner, Dimension C137, who got a 2-0 concede victory over Hound Brown Drow. We'll touch on this real briefly. C137, I guess, was fouling. This is the story. I mean, I didn't see it. Did you see it?
I saw it when it was going on. Yeah, I jumped into the replay after it was over.
So well, maybe you can kind of clarify.
Basically, there was first 4 turns with 4 casualties, 3 casualties, 2 deaths, and 3 knockouts. And so at that point, it looks like the Dark Elf team was just ending turn, and there was some communications between the two of them, and it didn't. I guess they weren't seeing eye to eye on it, and so How Brown Drow just quit.
Yeah, so that's. I mean, I'm sure the admins worked that out. Guys, don't quit in the middle of the game. It is a league match. It's tough. It's tough getting your team wrecked. I understand that, especially when you're playing a heavy fouling team. Yeah, man. And I feel you. Actually, if you guys get a chance, and maybe I don't on Superfed, I don't know if you saw this. the in Division One, Mistace's Brett team
Mm,
lost over 600
mm.
TV. He had 4 deaths, including 2 like level 4 guys. He had a level 6 killer who got killed. He had a level 3 blodge step diving tackle blitzer get killed. He had a strength 4 blitzer just got wrecked, but he went all the way to the end. So conceding is clearly frowned upon. You guys got to stick through it. And these little deals you make where I'm just going to end my turn, that's cool in CCL and stuff, but you can't really do that in the league. So, uh,
Yeah, well, Rebel in general is all about embracing the death and the glory. And I just from conversations that happened kind of after this event, surrounding it, even not really just about it, but I do feel like there's a lot of coaches here that just don't quite fully understand, that death is a part of Blood Bowl and it's gonna happen eventually. You're gonna have a game where you lose 3-4 pieces, and you just got to endure and rebuild. Rebuilding is part of the fun.
yeah, man. For every awesome piece that I've lost, another one's come right around the corner. So
Hmm.
anyway, there's C137. They get the 2-0 concede victory and the extra SPP from them, the double MVPs. That's just going to make them win. And then Jack World Day Laborers and Pandemonium Burgers. Jack World Day Laborers, the Human Squad. Human's really strong against Chaos, early Chaos. Oh, and he got a level on his AG5 or his AG4 guy. He picked up guard. I don't know if I'd have gone guard there, but yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that pick. But anyway, 13 breaks, 1 death on his squad. That's no good. He only got
They were the ones that were already pretty light.
yeah. All right, so that was week 9. Let's check. Gotta bring my set list up. Leaderboard, yeah, leaderboard. Skeeky Island boys still on
Absolutely.
top, 8-1-0. Dimension C137, they have actually played their week 10 game already, so they are 8-1-1.
Just nipping at the heels.
Yeah, the eventual winners. See, Chaos Ublu. I was just listening to him on chat. I do pop into the Discord from time to time. He's talking about he's got a pretty tough schedule coming up. All the big hitters.
Yeah, the end of the season against Dimension C137 could have playoff implications.
That's rough. Hipster 5-3-1, only 1 loss. He's looking good, man. He's a good-looking coach. I'm excited about that team.
I just love watching him play. He just plays phenomenal high elf defense, which you just don't see enough of.
Maybe you could take a lesson. Maybe you still have some elves on your team.
I told you, he's inspired me to play better.
The secret of my success, the Orcs only 2 losses. This team's looking pretty good, man. The secret of my success. I'm excited about that. We're going to talk about that, aren't we? Is that your team today?
We are.
How now, Brown
That
Drow?
is my pick.
5-2-2 is tied with How now, Brown Drow from Phaedrus, who hopefully can rebound from his couple deaths. Jack World Day Laborers, Humans and Humans, Jack World Day Laborers, and Cash Crew Part 2. Necromantic Newbies at 4-0-6, and then Pandemonium Burgers. And High Lord Salt gets his first win. It happens to be his first bye week also. Man, I like this. This guy is sauce. He's a cool dude, and I hope he sticks with this team. Let's go ahead and start with your squad. Let's go ahead and start with your guys.
Sure. The secret of my success. Right on the front page, they have a level up that they haven't taken, which normally would be enough for me to ignore them, but it's on a goblin, so we know what that's going to be. It should be a firing. I'm kind of over goblins, at least on the orc team.
What?
But
Really? You?
I am all over them. I tried making it work in my clan league, and they're never coming back on my team.
Doesn't that team have like 4 goblins on it?
Mine, yes, because they're fouling goblins. cheap fowlers. They're 3. I have 3, and they're all named after Chick-fil-A milkshakes. Foul Filet is my team.
Wait a minute. Is there Chick-fil-A?
But there's one, and it's literally 5 minutes from my house. I live in the same town as it, and it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Right. There's lines out into the streets.
Yeah, they just opened up a couple here in Vegas.
But yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, it's because there's nothing else like it. So for the goblin, I'm assuming it's going to be sidestep, possibly catch if you're really trying to just use it as that one turner. But those are the 2 common ones. Maybe jump up, I guess, too, for 1 turns. But at that point, you've already dropped the ball if you handed it off beforehand. Anyway, the real reason I picked this team is because they have some development now beyond just the 2 blodge blitzers, which is where they were when we looked at them last time. They've got a couple mighty blow pieces. And the troll is actually leveling faster than you really want them to. At this point, he's kind of 1 level away from where you usually see people cycle the troll. But what stands out to me is the break tackle before stand firm. The problem with trolls is obviously really stupid. You lose your tackle zones. You don't really get a lot of reliability out of them. You're not going to blitz with them very often. And to me, that break tackle, well, it does help you to reposition. It's really only useful, at least in my opinion, it's going to be more useful for cage diving than it is for repositioning with the troll, because your troll should just be in the right place to begin with. You don't see a lot of breakaway troll transactions there. They've only got 4 movements. So I don't know. What do you think about the troll?
Well, first of all, I don't think that trolls are necessary on a ruck team, but he's
No, they're
got
not.
he's got one. I agree with you on the break tackle. I love break tackle on ogres. I go guard break tackle on ogres, but ogres are move 5, and that one move makes a huge difference.
They're also too aggy.
And they're too agile, yeah. So I think it makes a huge difference because on a human team,
Yeah.
you need your ogre to move around. So if he gets based, it's bad. If he gets stuck on like a zombie or something, it's really bad. So you get the break tackle, get him away, and then for the cage dives. With the troll, you already have 4 more strength 4 pieces. You don't really need the strength to move around. He doesn't really need to move that much, and he's only strength 4. I agree with you. I would have gone stand for him there. His if you're going to use the troll, his best use is to just kind of anchor that line and not move.
Yep. And we talked about that when we talked about the troll for this team earlier in the season, how I said I just like to have my troll right in the middle of the pitch and they have to move around him, and you can kind of shut down lanes and kind of force the play onto one side of the pitch. And if you're moving your troll, well, there's a 1 in 6 chance that he just loses his tackle zones and becomes completely useless. So you really shouldn't be moving him very often, just like the Beast and Nurgle.
Well, the other thing with him is if you move him around, you're probably going to move him away from an activating player. So he could go do a blitz and then have nobody near him, and then all he's doing really stupid on 4+ instead of 2+.
Yeah.
So
it just allows you to mess up more than anything. So that's why I would have gone stand firm. And then, like I mentioned, if you get to level 3, you could get stand firm at that point, but really that's when you should start thinking about cycling him, especially if he gets there fast, because the rest of your team needs that development, needs that SPP. So something to consider, or just getting rid of them altogether.
So true story. I had in my human team, I have an ogre who had guard break tackle just like this. He's actually break tackle guard. And in my first season, I had about this much SPP, and then my second season, the one I'm in right now, I've been stuck on like 22, 23 SPP forever, and that fucking ogre cost me more games than he was like. He would fucking bonehead the worst possible times. He would fail blocks. He would just do pushes. He was just a piece of shit ogre. And if you ever watched any of my casts, you know how much I hated him. So I ended up firing him. He was fine. Like he had 24 SPP. He was only like 6 away from getting his next level. I was like, fuck him. I can't handle that guy anymore. So I fired him. And my new guy started today. It was his first game was today. He hit a record-setting 9 boneheads in his first game. 9.
Yeah, that was the only real experience I have with humans was in the Chaos Cup, and I lost to the richest T for the quarterfinals of the Losers Cup, and it was all boneheads for my ogre. And he's a human coach too, so he was giving me a hard time. But he's like, if you're really either 1 in 9ing or boneheading, which is what had happened, 10 turns in a row, maybe stop using him. And I'm like, okay, fine, you're right. That's a fair point. And yeah, I'm now not a fan of the ogres myself.
The ogre is essential to human team, and there was no moments.
Humans.
Yeah, there was no moments where I was like, they're critical failures, the boneheads. It was just super frustrating. But I do want you to know, since you mentioned that you lost in the second round Losers Cup, in my heart, man, you will always be the first loser of the REL.
Okay, well that's good to know.
I got you, brother. I got you. The AG4 Blodger, dude, that's fucking awesome. I mean, he's got strength access though, so what does he do next?
I would probably, I actually had this piece, and I did tackle and stand firm and made him the utility and just tried to go for that Wolf Rider build, hoping for a second double. But you still get a lot of use. So when you have a Blodge Blitzer and you get tackle on him, he becomes a really, really valuable safety. Because a lot of times orcs will struggle against other early dodge teams. Like even ghouls can be a trouble to stop from scoring. And so having mobile tackle becomes really useful. because you don't get wrestle. So tackle is really what defines you as a safety. And you're not going to make him a hitter and a killer because you've now got 2 level ups that are away from hitting and killing.
Would you, because this is what I would do, would you give him sure hands and fire your thrower?
A lot of people do that. I have the God thrower, so I don't get that choice or decision to make. But a lot of people would because the throwers are slow and you don't do really any passing. But the thing is, because he's got an Agi 4-piece, he actually has passing opportunity now to get a quick 2 or 1 turn, well, not 1 turn, but a 2 or 3 turn touchdown. And a lot of orc teams really struggle with 2 and 3 turn touchdowns. So I think that I would probably keep the thrower just for that viability. And when he gets his next level, either get leader and drop a team reroll or go with accurate if you don't get anything special like a double or stat. And that just kind of gives you 1 extra option.
I would go accurate. I can tell you from experience. I mentioned this before. I think we're talking about this team actually. I played Papa Nasty, who is an orc master. He plays orcs in every league. Um, this was in CCL, and he had 2. This is like 2 seasons ago. He had 2 AG4 orc blitzers, and I could not fucking stop them. Couldn't stop them.
Yeah.
I was humans, and he was acting like he was a fucking elf, man. He would just run down with his
Yeah.
thrower and throw to them, and they would just fucking run away from me. It was amazing. So yeah, I would keep the throw in this case. I would give the blitzer. I don't know what I give the blitzer. To be honest, sure hands was not really an option since you already have the throwers. Um, Strength access.
It's either guard or tackle. It's guard or tackle. That's all the choices really. Stand firm comes much later. You aren't gonna need anything else.
I would probably go in this instance because I would give blind camping is only 1 SPP away. I'd give him tackle. I would give solo flexor guard, and then if I didn't get a double, I could stand firm next and make him a blodge firm with the AG4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not bad.
Because blind camping, he is going to get tackle. And then this Market Warfare is only 3 SVP away. Assuming he gets a normal, would you go guard or would you go Mighty Blow?
He's lacking guard. Getting 3 guard should be a priority for every team with strength access, and a top priority. It's nice to have 1 or 2 tackle, and Mighty Blow will speed up your development. But until you have your minimum of 3 guard pieces, you're in a vulnerable position against other bash teams. Orcs thankfully have a lot of strength, and he's got the troll too, so he can still kind of leverage that. But there comes a point where if you don't have that minimum of 3 guard and you get up against a team like dwarves, you are going to really notice it, and you're going to miss that guard.
Yeah, so he's at 1660 TV, but he's got he's got his bye-week cash. He needs a dump still. So he's about a 1500 TV, and that's about the time when Chaos and Claw teams start to develop their Claw hitters. What you need to do as orcs when you're starting around 1500 is you really need to make sure you stay ahead of the guard game because you want to make sure that those hits from those claw pieces are 1 dice instead of 2 dice as much as possible. So yeah, I'd probably go guard there. I think he needs guard myself. Yeah.
Even that last black orc, it's tempting to go block just to have reliability, but I would go guard first in that case to try and get some guard up as soon as you can.
Yeah, it kind of depends on the rest of his schedule. I mean, he needs to get this. He needs to score a touchdown with this guy, or get that touch, or hit with him as much as possible, and get that block piece. Once these black orcs, I'd probably still go block first with him. I don't like going guard first with my black orcs. They're targets, man. They're targets when you do that.
Yeah, it happens.
That is Rusty Seabutter's secret of my success. I want to talk about your favorite team in the division. Hipsters Templars of Aurora.
They are my favorite.
17.
Look at that TV.
70 TV. Yeah, that is not
all that
around.
Sexy guard bloat.
Look at this though. He's 1770 TV, and he has only 3 block pieces.
I'm gonna pick on him actually for something.
Do it. What you got?
Actually, I'll let you go first and see if you catch what I'm gonna say.
Well, there's a couple things that I disagree with this team. So my first thing I'm going to say is I would just fire this move 5 guy. He's got too many people right now for an elf team in the first season. Your TV is too high. Fire this move busted lineman. I would get rid of him. People seem to like carrying 2 catchers, so I won't pick on you for that. I don't know why people like to pick on you.
He's got 3.
Does he have?
No, he's got 4 catchers.
I was talking about throwers. Excuse me. The 2 throwers.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I would not have picked up this extra catcher until I got block or guard on these other two catchers. I think you're carrying. It's too hard to protect this guy. And then I mean he's got too many people that needs a level. This guy's brand new. Yeah, I wouldn't have not picked up this extra catcher until I got blocker guard on these dudes, on these other catchers. What else has he got? Sure hands. I
He's
like
got
the sure
great
hands.
startups. Yeah.
Yeah, AG5 is sick. I would fucking focus on getting him. Well, what's your thing you can pick on him about?
So you get doubles on a high elf team, and guard is a good first one, especially on a lineman. You can't control who you get your doubles on, but what's really critical on every team is to have at least one piece that you're going to blitz with that has mighty blow. And the difference between like a really successful high elf team, and this is just not just true in champ ladder, but also in leagues, is when you have one piece that can reliably remove, and whether that's dirty player, which you're not going to get on a high elf team, you're just not. So then the next best thing is going to be mighty blow, and you've had 3 doubles now. You don't need 3 guard. It'll help, sure, but you don't need 3 guard. One of these linemen should have got mighty blow and become your actual true blitzer, since your other blitzing pieces are going to be more about marking and ball control, especially the Agi 5 one. He's going to get leap. And so, yeah, I think that it's a missed opportunity to get mighty blow on a piece that could then become something that you blitz with every turn when you don't have a hit on the ball.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. When I don't play high elves, those stupid fucking hats and the stupid screaming they do just drives me crazy. But it's so annoying. I play dark elves. I play a lot of dark elves. And my general theory is if I get doubles on a lineman, I get guard. If I get doubles on a blitzer, I get mighty blow. But on
Mm-hmm.
dark elf you have 4 blitzers,
Yep.
so you have twice the opportunity. So I mean I don't really know. I think I don't like I'm not a high elf coach, and there's enough of difference between the two teams to not make an intelligent conversation in that. Um, I
The catchers actually tend to be where mighty blow goes. That would be probably your first choice because you're going to have enough movement to punch with them and then get out. Your blitzers actually don't usually get the mighty blow. They usually get guard because the rest of their path is blodge step, and blodge step with guard is just great. So that's typically where you want it. But if you've got doubles, I mean, why would you just stack guard? I mean, it's great, but that's not the way the high elves are going to win.
Yeah, I mean, I had my REL Dark Elves before I rerolled the humans. They had like 4 or 5 guard, and I would just fucking stand and bash with everybody. I had 0 problems. I loved it. I had all my linemen with guard, until they all died. until they all died to a killer dwarf team, like a 2200 dwarf team. Um,
Yeah.
but I thought the guard was so strong because it kind of like. So I mean, you're an elf coach sometimes. You do your elf screen, you back up and you back up and you back up. If you have guard, you don't have to back up. You can stand and hold the line for a little bit longer.
Right. Yeah, if they don't mark you correctly and their positioning's bad, which is, often enough you're going to see that. You just basically when you do your elf screen, they walk up to you and mark you, and then you 2-die them back, and you just stand your ground. And the guard really enables that, and it forces them to have better positioning or to remove pieces. And so yeah, it can be very helpful. But I don't know, I think the mighty blow gives you such a good edge because if you can get a numbers advantage as an elf team, it's already game over.
But here's the other thing, and this is my last comment on the Mighty Blow conversation about lineman. He's in a super bash heavy division where everybody's got AV9. How much is that Mighty Blow
That's a
really
good
going to help
point.
him?
To me, it's valuable because there's always at least one piece or 2 pieces usually that are AV8 that are accessible, that people just tend to forget about or leave in a bad spot. And if they're going to give you that chance, it's always something that I would take. But that's just the way I play.
So yeah, so the team looks good. I mean, my concern is he's only got 3 block and 1 wrestle. And this is he's got the problem that I see with a lot of elf teams, including almost of my own. He has all these guys that need 1 skill, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
who do you get the next skill on? Like this intimate intros guy, he only needs 2 SPP, but he's got 13 person. He's got a two-man bench at 1770. I'd fire him or I'd fire Intimate Duel. But then who do you score it with, man? You got all these guys that need skills like this AG5 catcher. I'd probably get him block or wrestle, whichever one I want to get. I get him immediately because AG5 is so awesome on elves.
Yeah.
And then you got Leo the Noble, who wants sprint, and he wants sure feet, and he wants block. You got all those things.
Mm-hmm.
You want to get
Yep.
you want to get tackle on Leo. There is no tackle on this team. So
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a lot of pieces.
Look at his history. See how he's trending. So he lost to Kashkir Part Due. That's a big loss. And then he's tied Drackle Day Labors. He, of course, stomped the Chaos team.
Tied 3 Mountains.
And tied the Dwarves. Yeah. I think right now, obviously his TV's so high because you have these buy games. And so he just bought pieces for it. I agree that he probably should fire the move busted lineman. Having not skilled up linemen is fine because you need some fodder for the line. I just don't like the 4 catchers. Like you, I like to get Blodge first before I get the next one. And then the throwers, also something that he's going to need to get some.
Like, who does he put on the line of scrimmage right now? I mean, he's got to put.
That's the thing. Yeah.
He puts this move busted guy. He puts this unskilled guy, and then he's
one of the guard.
He's got to put a guard piece on.
Yeah. He's put one of the guard for sure.
So, yeah, I mean, I would. I mean, this Leo guy, Leo the Fearless, he's already got a TD, so maybe you keep him. But I think this was a mistake. But the guy's only lost 1 game this season, so clearly he knows what he's doing. So, just because we don't agree doesn't mean that is the way to go. Let's go on to the next week's schedule. We'll pick my game first. I wanted to go with 3 Mountains. Oops, am I in the wrong spot? Where am I at? I wanted Secret of My Success is what I wanted. Where are they at? Oh, holy shit. Oh, here we go. I was in the wrong
Very
week.
Bottom of week 10.
Yeah, there we go. I was in the wrong week. 3 Mountains versus Secret of My Success is what I'm going with. We have Dwarfs and Orcs because it's a classic matchup. I love watching it. The Dwarfs are 1470 and the Orcs are 1660, so the Dwarfs are going to get some... well, the Secret of My Success has a bunch of extra cash that he can dump before this game, so...
Yeah, he should. Maybe get a stadium upgrade or something fun. But looking very quickly at 3 Mountains, I worry for the Orc team because they're just going to be outguarded. 6 guard pieces to 2. That typically tells the tale of the tape. They are going to be missing one of their best line, or what is it? Longbeards.
Longbeard.
What they call them, but one of the best dwarf linemen is going to be out, so that's 1 less guard to worry about. But
how fortunate for him, though. Look at it. Hold on, just sorry to interrupt.
I know.
This guy that clicked the move bust is the guy with grab, so he can keep people next to him. So that's about as lucky as that can be.
Yeah. But I just worry for the Orc team. I mean, if I was in his shoes, I would be very nervous about this match. Hope for some good armor breaks. That's how I beat or Drew owned. But focus the AV8. Every chance you get to punch one of those Troll Slayers or the runners, you use one of your Mighty Blow pieces to do that.
I would foul this fucking Troll Slayer, St. Helen, the guy who's got piling on, because he's going to pile on. And
of course,
we talked about before, he's got AV8, so I would make sure I pound that dude every time he hits dirt. And then, just as a matter of course, you need to destroy this Hell's Gate because this guy is an abomination. This should not be alive.
Yeah.
This fucking AG4 move 7 Blodge Dwarf. What the fuck is that?
That's an elf.
That's a fucking elf. I don't like it. That does not belong in any team ever. So
a thick-skulled elf.
So you play both dwarfs and orcs, and you are going with the dwarfs, you say?
Yeah, the dwarfs got this.
They got it easy, you say. Let me take quick gander here. You know who's gonna win this game for the orcs? Never log in. This fucking goblin with the pending level up. He's gonna get thrown by blue balls, and he's gonna score a fucking late touchdown and win the game.
Yeah, the only loss that my team has was against Owned in the first season, and that was because my troll decided to eat the goblin for the touchdown at the 1 turn, and that didn't go well.
I've never seen
the
animation.
I wish him all the best.
I'm like telling you, man.
It's unpleasant.
These black orcs are in good shape. Hopefully, This isn't the game where Undock Games loses his that niggle comes into play. But his team is looking good. Um, the strength of these Blodge Blitzers isn't going to be any good against the Dwarfs. But I like the fucking Black Orcs, and I'm telling you, either Never Login's going to score a late touchdown, or he's going to throw him at that fucking runner and kill him with Never Login. Like it'll be a double suicide death. Something fancy
I'm
is
gonna
going to happen.
say Chaos Abulu is just a really good coach too. I've watched his streams. He's a chatty guy. He knows his stuff. I think he's gonna have the edge there too.
I'm taking Rusty Seabrudder and the secret of my success for the upset of the season right there. that's,
All right.
that's what I'm going with. Who did you pick, man?
I got the Templars of Aurora, who we just talked about, are taking on the champs, Skinky Island Boys. So again, this is one that you already predicted. So you already predicted the upset here for Templars of Aurora. But Skinky Island Boys, just to quickly look at, they did have that we just mentioned at the start. Asaurus died, already replaced. But he's down to 3 Blocksaurus. He's got a tackle, which is all he needs. Yeah, this is going to be Templar of Aurora's moment to shine. Either Hipster can take down the champ, or he's basically gonna have to accept that he's not going to the playoffs.
So
because technically he still has a chance.
yeah, so you're taking Skinky Island Boys? You're taking the
Yeah, I'm taking Skinky Island Boys. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Well, so you're wrong. Look at this team. They got one fucking tackle piece. And did you see how many dodge that fucking Templars of Aurora have?
Yeah, but they have no block.
They don't need any fucking block. They need 3 block. They're not gonna hit Saurus. Not gonna hit the fucking strength 4 guys. They're just gonna run around them because why sit next to them? I'll just fucking run around you. I got 2 guys with block. That's all I need to hit these fucking skinks. I have 1 guy with fucking.
Has he always had a Bloxagor? Yeah, he must have. Yeah, he's had that for a while.
Yeah, he's had
Bloxagor.
Fucking for a minute.
Bloxagor.
The Bloxagor is
and
strong.
Get this lovely lizard team is also getting in money in inducements.
Well, I mean, he's getting money in inducements until what's gonna happen is Hipster's gonna listen to this video and he's gonna be like, I'm gonna fire one of my fucking elves that I don't need, and I'm gonna lower my
nobody
TV.
listens. Nobody listens to these videos and adapts to what we're saying. Come on.
He's going to lower his TV to a point where he's not going to be giving up too much. I don't know. Hipster's team is really strong, and I think he's just going to fucking go down and score a bunch of fucking goals. Templars of Aurora is going to win that game, clearing the way for Tommy Tutal to fucking win right at the division. Just throwing that out there.
Jeez.
One more time.
If you called that like halfway through the season, that would be pretty impressive.
I called it.
I'll give you that one.
At the break, I called it at the break, dude.
You called it mid-season. Yeah, you called it mid-season.
It's happening. It's happening. We're getting. I mean, how many weeks do we have left? I think it's time to make predictions, isn't it?
It's getting near the end. Yeah, Rodders asked for our picks, which I started to type and forgot about, and now you just reminded me. So I need to get that over to Rodders.
Should we do them right now? Should we do the Division 4? Who we think is going to, or Division 5? Do it now? We're not ready for it.
I mean, we already know. You've already ordained that it's Tommy Tutal, and I pretty much said all along, and I'm sticking to it, that Skinky Island Boys just aren't going to lose.
Okay, so that's easier. So our picks are you're picking Wave, and I'm picking Tommy Tutal. Chaos Ublu's still in it though, man. He's still in it.
He is. He's still in it. He has to go through Tommy Tutal, and then he has to rely on somebody else to beat Skinky Island Boys because they already beat him.
Has Hipster played Skinky Island Boys yet? No, they play Elves. They get a bye, and they play.
If Templars don't beat Skinky Island Boys, then it's up to How Now Brown Drow if they can stay through the game.
It doesn't. I mean, this game right here, the secret of my success for Skinky Island Boys, Week 13. The one team that fucking Lizards really struggle with is a somewhat developed orc team.
Yeah. I love crushing lizards.
So. There's 2, maybe 3 losses on Skinky Island Boys' on their schedule there. I'm taking Tommy Tutal in the Dimension C137. Those mummies Just let's look at them one more time because they're so awesome. Like I am wicked fucking jealous of these fucking mummies. Are so strong.
He's
Blood
out piling on white now too.
and a piling on white, an AG4 white. Like this
Yeah.
team is disgusting.
He's built to break things.
Two dirty players. Come on, dude. This team's
No,
great.
no.
That
He's
is
about to get the Skelly too.
yeah, and that's the eventual winner. So that is Division 5 for Week 9. Division 4. Division 4. Let's go over the schedule. Oops. Horrible Cliches 2-0 Rebel Invasion. That's a bye week. Typos Happen 2-0 The Carnival Freak Show. Isn't that a bye week also?
Bye week. Bye week.
That's a bye week also. I think I'm going to talk about Typos Happen. So, Speed Lump, he got the... excuse me, left lights going on. He did something really smart, and there's a reason I want to cover his team, so we'll go into that. Baywatch Knights 1-0 the company minus. That's a huge upset.
Yeah.
Remind me which one of us picked the Baywatch Knights?
Did we talk about this one last week?
Yeah, yes we did.
I don't recall.
Yeah, I think you actually picked them. So we'll go there. Lizard Beast 2-0s came. Well, actually, let's kind of click into these. These are the buy, so we can look at.
You got a wrestle peasant and a dead hobo.
Dead hobo with the MVP. That's brutal. I mean, it sucks that it went on. This, I mean, it looks bad. Looks left. This is the second one. It's gonna be the third one coming up. Here's the thing about getting the MVP on a hobo and then him dying. Now you don't have to worry about carrying that extra TV.
Right.
Nuffle took care of it for you.
built-in bloat protection.
Only 7 SVP for a company mine. I'll see him score a touchdown. Look at the Baywatch Knights though.
K&G conceded.
No, they didn't.
I didn't.
Did
Yeah. That looks like a DC. Because there was blocks.
Yeah, and armor breaks, and he's not the kind of coach that would concede if he's getting beat up. So.
Well, he did have some breaks before that. He had 2 injuries inflicted, but yeah, that's odd to me too.
K&G. All right, so this is kind of a lame week for Division 4. Resistance is feudal.
All around.
Resistance is feudal with a 1-0 versus Communist Frat Party. The expulsion on the Frat Party, that's not fair. This countless opportunity with the MVPs, a strength 4 guy. Not a lot of SPP in this game. 29 blocks to 34, 5 KOs. That sucks. When you get a bunch of KOs like that, you get so frustrated. I just played a game in CCL where I KO'd, I think, 6 or 7 fucking Norse. And they all came back in the second half. Like, why can't some of those be injuries?
Yeah.
That's frustrating. Gambus gets, that's a...
It's lack of mighty blow.
That's a lack of mighty blow.
This is yeah, that's a concede there. And then the actual newsworthy event was the upset.
We did predict this game. We did predict this game. Who predicted Unlucky Skull Skull? Let's just remind me.
I still can't remember who picked who.
I fucking picked Unlucky Skull Skull. My boy came.
All right.
You jumped on. You're like, before I even say anything, you're like, I'm taking Ace Trucking Company. I'm taking Quicks.
You're right.
He's amazing.
You're right.
And I said, no, Unlucky Skull Skull is going to win this fucking game. King of Cosmos.
Yeah, absolutely right.
And he got the MVP on his fucking Frenzy Blitzeroff. Which is awesome. 16 armor breaks to 12. I mean, this is a fucking slugfest. 43 for the blocks. Exactly the same. 1 kill. Inflicted. I don't know who died on Ace Trucking Company. But look at all that.
I want to say it was Hobo. Yeah.
Look at all the SVP for King there. 9 plus 4 is 13, 16. That's nice. Versus 9. So, good for him, man. He got the kill. That will shake things up on the top of the leaderboard, man. Shake things up. Let's look at it.
It definitely opens the door. It's probably not all over, but it definitely opens the door.
My 2 picks. My 2 picks. I mean, when we talked about it, we were all like Chaos Dwarf, and I was like, there's 2 teams that aren't Chaos Dwarfs. That was
a Bull Centaur that died.
No, it wasn't. Really?
It was his star Bull Centaur. Ooh, he had the money exactly to replace him. So he said no bank left.
Wah, wah.
That was huge, though. That sets him way back. Because he already had a lot of his development on his blockers and not on his Bull Centaurs. Mm-hmm. So really, he's going to be relying on his Hobo to score here.
On Ace. So we talked about the mid-season thing. We talked about how the Chaos Force kind of dominated the race, but I said there's 2 teams I would watch out for that I thought had a really good chance, and they are now in 2nd and 3rd. So Ace Trucking Company holds on to a spot briefly. He's up there now, but now he's kind of in trouble with that Bull Centaur being dead. And then Cake and Grad
Hmm.
followed up by Horrible Cliche is the two teams I said watch out for, man. They're looking good. Looking good. Cake and Grad's TV is a little deceptive right now, but we'll get into that. Horrible Cliche is going right after it. Iron Man, Gengar, Iron Maiden, Madden pulling up number
Yeah, he's
4.
clawing his way up there.
It's really impressive. Lizard Beast tied with him, and then also tied with them is Ravenpo with his gimmick knights. He actually used Mighty Zug in his last game. He didn't use Griff. Probably
Uh,
he didn't have enough inducements. Unlike his Skull with a huge win, only has 2 losses, man. So they are not out of it. They can still claw back in too with a couple wins.
is that
Squiggy.
where the line is? I mean, if I'm doing the math, because there's only like 3 weeks left, I don't know if that's still in contention.
Probably not, but I mean it's a pretty successful season for a Camry squad. But 2 losses, so if he's got 3 games left, he goes 6-4-2. That's
Well,
what.
so Ace is already at 19 points, so he would at a minimum need 20 points to get there.
Well, I mean, if he won the rest of his games, he's at 22.
30, and then everybody else lost. Yeah,
So, Squiggy's in free
yeah.
fall because he's not
I'm
playing his
okay with the
games.
math.
And then Unaccompanied Minos is tied with his mentor there. Shiggy is 4-0-5. He either wins or loses, man. There's no way in between with Shiggy. Then Warboss Zodgrod. How is Warboss Zodgrod below these guys? Like,
Well, you had that concede, but yeah,
he
he's
must have
had a
lost to
rough
Shiggy,
start.
right? Because look, it's 3-3-3, 3-3-3 for
Hmm.
Squiggy and Debt Monkey, and then Shiggy 4-0-5, and then Warboss 3-3-3. So that's weird.
Yeah, it's on.
Communist Frat Party from Nocturnal with the Humans bringing up the rear, and then by week. So that is your leaderboard for week 9. We talked about your team first last time, so we're going to talk about my team first this time, and I'm taking Cake and Grad, my clan teammate from REL who just won again. We are now 4-1, or 3-1, whatever it is. I want to talk about this team because he had a bye week this week, which is why you see only 9. You're like, I first looked at the squad, I'm like, holy fuck, there's only 8 fucking orcs. You never see that because orcs don't die. But he fired
Hmm.
his line orcs because he had a bye week, and he did it because he's got a bye week. He's got a second bye week after this one.
Hmm.
So this is
You know
really,
who else
really
did
smart.
that? You know who else did that, right?
No, who else did that?
Dimension C137.
Yes, they
Because he
did.
had 3 bye weeks in a row.
Which is really smart, and that's what I do when you're in these lower divisions like this. Like last year, I was in Division 3, and I had a couple bye weeks. I would fire all my linemen, unskilled linemen that I could, so your MVPs and your touchdowns go to the right places. So Cake and Grad did a really, really smart thing. You see, he's floating a bunch of cash, so he's
Yeah,
gonna get
he'll
another
get
bye
everything
week,
back.
and then he'll be able to get back all of his works by the end of his bye week. So look at this team. I
Was
want
he
to
running a thrower before or not?
he was not running a thrower, no.
Yeah.
This is his first work team, so he
I
used.
like the strength up. That's new.
That is new. That is. I was going to talk about that, but you're the orc guy. I wanted to talk about before we get into your orc expertise. I want to talk about Life Goes On, who got the level up. Um, he also has a move or AG bust, and the way I'm looking at it is this guy 100%, no doubt about it, has to go piling on because you're not
Hmm.
piling on with the other 3 blitzers aren't getting pile on. You don't want to pile on with your strength guy because you don't want your strength guy in the dirt. You don't want to pile
Right.
on with your diving tackle lodge guy because he's he hasn't got mighty blow yet. You don't want to pile on with your guard piece. So your only guy left to pile on is this guy, right? But also,
Correct.
if he's got this level up, say it's a double, I would skip jump up. I wouldn't even
I was
fucking
gonna say you're
ever worry about
saying
it.
jump up. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I knew you were going there. You know, jump up's great, but if you're gonna use your killer the way that you're describing and the way I like to use them, you don't need it because you're blitzing with them more often than not. You're the way I look at my blitz actions are: do I have a chance to hit the ball? Yes or no? And then if it's a yes, do I have to roll any dice to get it to happen? And the more dice I have to roll and the harder that is, the more likely I'm going to say, okay, no, I don't have a reliable hit on the ball. So then my next best action is who do I blitz that I can remove or kill? And that's where, okay, I'm going to use a killer piece or a piece with Mighty Blow, and that's what I'm going to want to blitz with. And so with piling on this guy, sure, if he piled on the turn before, his movement's not going to be great. He's only going to be able to hit something that's 3 squares away, but you don't need jump up for that. So yeah, I agree with you. You skip jump up and you just go piling on.
Yeah, I think that's weird. And then when I got my next level, I would still skip. I would not get jump up on
Pro.
this guy because of the AG2. Yeah, I'd go pro.
Yeah.
I would just skip doubles. And then I talked about this in I forget which
After
fucking.
pro, I would consider it just for the movement, but because the extra 3 movement is nice. You don't. You're still going to be blitzing with them. You're not going to be using the jump up and punch action.
Well, yeah, but then you also
Um,
have pro, so you can re-roll it when it fails on a two.
yeah, that's a good point too. Yeah, after pro you could, but before then I wouldn't.
Yeah, you're gonna go mighty blow then pro, for sure. And I forget who it was. I think it was I don't know. In one of my, I was talking to somebody about this. The reason you want your blitzers, your killers, to be super efficient, and that means don't get them doubles.
Hmm.
And the reason is because if you get piling on guys tend to die. And if you look at, we'll go back to Mistace's example, and he had Rough the Slayer, who was a piling on, mighty blow, pro, tackle, guard, fucking wrestle, awesome fucking killer, who had survived for a long time. He piled on, and on the first turn got fouled and killed. So I don't like my blitzers that carry a lot of doubles, actually one double at most, because I want them to be easy to replace because they die.
A good example of where this can go wrong is if you look at Papa Nasty's orc team in the Big O. Every single one of his blitzers has at least one double. Most of them have two. Some even have three. All of them have piling on and mighty blow. It's a really weird team, and he's doing better now. He had a slower start to the season. He didn't make playoffs last season, but everyone's got really high expectations of him because he's a great coach. But at first I wanted to trade with him to trade blitzers, and we talked about it last season. Knowing what I know now, I wouldn't trade with him because his blitzers are bloaty.
So
Yeah, they've all got cool stuff, but I just don't like them.
So I played. Papa Nasty plays orcs in almost every league, and we play in Goblin. And actually, it's on my channel if you want to watch it. It's a replay of my Dark Elves versus his uh his orcs. And his Goblin orcs are just like every other team he's got. He's got 4 blitzers, all of his SPPs on 4 blitzers. Uh, they
Hmm.
all 4 have mighty blow. They all 4 have tackle, and 2 of them have piling on. And that's basically all of his
He
TV,
just
right?
loves it.
That's all. And he's got no guard. He's got 1 guard on a black orc with no block. It's just a naked guard piece, and then that's it. Um, and he piles on every single turn, every time, without regard to positioning. And I abuse the fuck out of it because those things, when they get up, they can only move 3. And so I'd be like, he's gonna pile on, and then I would just
Yep.
run around him. Um,
Yeah.
so he's a good coach when you have that much piling on, and he just uses it blindly. There was only one single time the entire game where he didn't pile on, and that's because it was turn 8 and he had to get on the ball carrier. Otherwise, he piled
Yeah.
on without regard to positioning or where his guys needed to be, and I sucked him into me, and I just ran around him. So yeah, he's a good coach.
It's a numbers game, and he plays the numbers game to remove pieces to win by default on turn 16. But
Correct,
it's hard to get there.
correct. So I think one piling on piece per team is pretty much where I draw the line. I don't need more than one because that guy's gonna be on his face half the time.
Yeah.
He goes every single team he builds is exactly the same. He doesn't even worry about guard. And then eventually, and he can do that in the Big O, right? Because there's no claw teams to fucking trim him. But when you get to the playoffs and you start finding like killer like Kool-Aid Convoy, he's not playing this season, but he's gonna destroy you. Like if he played Sace's team, to REL Division 1,
I
Sace's team
know.
would fucking
Well,
murder
that's why I kind of want him to go to the playoffs.
him because he's got 3 Mighty Blow Claw Palm killers, and
Yeah.
there's not enough guard on Papa Nassi's team. So here, no, that's kind of a bird walk there, but yeah, I think just one piling on is the point of that whole conversation. One piling on is all you need, and that's all you should really get. 2 is getting aggressive. Anything more than that, then you're a one-dimensional team, and you're counting on one trick to win.
Couldn't set a better.
So that is Cake and Grad. Who are you picking up this time, man?
I have got Horrible Cliches, who's the other team that's kind of sneaking up the ladder there into third place.
1800 TV for Monkey Man. He's got a couple extra. He's got 400.
Just like Hipster, this is another coach who just blew up the SPP for a one-season team. But unlike Hipster, he doesn't have a bunch of bloaty skill ups and doubles. He has nice, clean cut lines. Look at that perfectly balanced skills. Really, only a couple pieces have 3 level ups. Most of them only have 1 or 2 level ups.
I like how they're symmetrical too. Like the guy who has the most skills is on
Right?
top.
You can You can just tell that he's been kind of organizing it and lining
Yeah.
them up like a line of coke.
He's like I can't level this guy until this guy gets level because then he's not right. I can see him being super ADD about that too.
Right. Oh man, it's great. So yeah, I'm a fan. I mean, you're the resident Dark Elf expert, but I am a fan of this team and the way that it's developing nicely. I even like the strip ball before the blodge on that one blitzer, um, because it just kind of puts extra pressure on your team, even without you using them. To make sure that the ball's on the sure hands piece. People love to overreact to that. If they're in the cage, it doesn't matter who's got the piece. They're not going to blitz the ball, but I'll discuss that another time. He's got the movement up on the blitzer, which is great. Gives you a little bit of a one-turn opportunity there with the move 8 piece. And then the witch elves are coming along nicely. He's got mighty blow tackle. That's the perfect blitzing killing piece. What are your thoughts?
I love this team. I really do. I have a couple quibbles, of course, because that's what we do here.
It's our job.
We
Yeah.
have a couple quibbles. I love the not it's not over yet. He's an awesome witch. Fucking love him. But since I like to have one of my witches, and if you actually just did a dark elf in depth series,
You like a wrestler.
I like a wrestler. Like this second guy, he should have got wrestle tackle. Is the way I would have gone with him. Wrestle tackle, then strip ball. And for that reason, I would not have gotten strip ball on the blitzer because I wanted on the witch elf. Um, I'm sure it worked great for him, especially in this division, because there's a lot of teams that don't have sure hands. I mean, there's 3 Chorf teams, right? And none of they don't have sure hands at the beginning of the season. So I can see why you pick it up in this particular instance. The only part that I don't like about it is now this guy's kind of a sacker. So I might even give him leap next, to be honest, so he can dive cages
Mm-hmm.
on a 3+.
Yeah, I like
Um,
that.
so I think that's a product of the
Uh,
environment.
yeah. So my only thought is I don't always like blitzing the ball with frenzy pieces. And I've seen it work out well. But my thought is that you want to have at least one sacker that is better for either a cage dive play or some kind of play where you can both hit the ball and then reliably pick it up afterwards without having to risk a turnover. Because in my mind, it would suck to have my witch elf do the strip ball play and then get frenzy trapped and turnover, and then they just pick up the ball. But what do you think
Yeah.
about that?
So when I do a cage dive with my witches, which I do often, when I play Dark Elves, I attack a cage relentlessly. I attack it every fucking turn if I can, as long as my guys are holding up. It, Part of the problem with attacking the cage is you're in base contact. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're taking losses, you have to back out. But I will attack every single turn. So if you're gonna do a cage dive with the witch, you have to contact both sides of the cage, the sides you're attacking and the side you're gonna come out on the other side, so that they're both one dies. So you inherently
Yeah.
you have to add
See,
an extra guy to that cage mix.
right. Well, and I'm just imagining at least guard, being on one or two parts of that cage, and that really makes the frenzy even worse, in my opinion. But I
Well,
can see where you're going with it.
yeah, I mean it depends. Like if your guy who's blitzing the ball has the pieces he needs, if he has wrestle, tackle, and strip ball, then you don't care if there's a guard in there. So what if you get a red die? Especially if
Yeah,
that
that's
first
true.
kid doesn't have strip. If that first guy doesn't have the ball carrier doesn't have sure hands, that one die is gonna get
Yeah,
that ball out as long as it's not a skull.
that's a fair point. I mean, I guess I wasn't really thinking of it as, just like with gutter runners on Skaven. They don't care about the red die. They embrace the red die. They just don't roll one, and then they get the ball loose. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um,
I love
yeah,
this Try Me
okay.
Blitzer. He's he's got movement next. You can do two things. You can either get sidestep next, or you can get sprint next to make him even stronger one turn. Both of those skills make him a stronger one turner. In my mind, I get sidestep because sidestep is useful for more than just one turning.
Hmm.
Um, but this piece is awesome, and you can see that he's got that awesome, wonderful dark elf problem where he's got a bunch of guys who are only a touchdown away from scoring or a point away from scoring. Like he could take this guy the way to the bottom, not my watch, and just throw him pass. He's got a level. Um,
Yeah, I like
that,
that he hasn't done that yet. Actually, just because you don't want to bloat too much, and he's already got such a high TV that those line men don't really need it at this point. And he's
yeah,
got 3 already that have wrestle.
yeah. I don't care when I'm dark elves. I don't care about TV bloat. Uh,
Yeah,
because I mean
that's
just
fair.
because he doesn't. It's not like he has a ton of skills. Dark Elves just bloat naturally, so they play at
Yeah,
high TV.
the positionals are really expensive.
So yeah, I don't give a fuck. He went 3 guard linemen. These are the guys that are going to be on the line. I'm not a huge fan of that. I like to have 1 or 2 of them for sure. But 3 seems aggressive to me. And some Dark Elf coaches, it's just a different style. Some Dark Elf coaches love to have the wrestle pieces on the line. I like to have 1 or 2 because then they give them leap and then they dive the cage. And then I don't care if they
Right.
die because they're linemen. you know, he went 3. And that's good. This team looks fucking solid. He went block on his kicker before. I'd have gone dodge first there. Just I always go dodge on a piece like that first. I like to go dodge before block and wrestle because moving around is so critical to elves, getting away from pressure.
Yeah, I've come around to that too because there's a lot of times the piece that's hitting you probably isn't going to have tackle as much as they're likely to have block. But if they don't have block or tackle, then it's dodge is a much more reliable defensive mechanism.
Yeah, so if you watch my playoff match against Papanassi, he only had 2 blackworks with, or 1 blackworks with level, right? And I had guys that I called naked dodge and linemen who just have dodge as their only skill, and I would mark blackworks with that guy because
Yeah, that's
only a
perfect.
POW knocks him down.
Mm-hmm.
But he can't take the double down because then he ends his turn. So and then the next turn, and I would only do that if I needed to stop that blackwork from moving, and the next turn I would just run away. So
Yeah.
I like dodge first, but and this team looks fucking gross, dude. This is the guy I would focus on. I was born ready. I would just start pumping him touchdowns and get him blodge. Because the rest of their team is pretty solid. You need 1 more tackle piece, I think. If you get to the playoffs, he's gonna need another tackle piece at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think that this team is in a great position for next season, even if he doesn't make it this season. I think if he keeps the team, doesn't reroll or anything, he'll be on the higher side of the divisions.
Man, why would you reroll this team? What's amazing to me in this team
Right.
is this is a super nasty fucking division for Dark. There's 3 fucking Chaos Dwarfs. There's
Yeah.
This is a bashy.
He's
There's a
performing.
orc team. This is a really really impressive by fucking Monkey Man. I remember. I'm just so impressed by that team. I fucking love it. Highlight game. Let's do mine first because yours is kind of fun. I'm taking the unaccompanied. What the Iron Maiden? Where we at? Schedule. Where we are this week? Unaccompanied Minos versus Iron Maiden. Madden? I say it wrong every single time, don't I?
Okay.
Let's look at them. Unaccompanied Minos. We just looked at them, right? The 1240 TV. Oh, he's missing a blocker. He's missing a guard piece. That's not going to be good going into this bash matchup.
Yeah, this one's got a lot of development on their Bull Centaurs, but not as much development on the blockers.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how we differentiate all these Chaos Dwarf teams. Some got blockers, some got Bull Centaurs, and some got hobos.
Unless you're Quicks, now you're in trouble, dude. Quicks, I feel bad for you, brother. So how much is he gonna? He's got 1240 TV. He's playing Iron Madden, who's at 6, so he's gonna get a ton of inducements. 350, 370, 370
bribes. Well, then it just becomes a foul off with Gengar, and I don't know that anyone wins there.
Gengar is actually only 1510, so that's this team is gross.
Maybe you get a bribe and an extra Apo.
He has a fucking dirty player sneaky get. Skeleton.
I almost picked his team for that highlight. Yeah. First on a mighty blow. And then he's got the strength up and a sneaky get DP.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 2 guard. How much guard does that monkey have? 2 guard.
4, 3, somewhere around there.
He's got 2. It's my game, so I'll let you pick first. Although I'm not happy about it.
It's really all going to be up to what Gengar brings to the table if he wants to pick up the ball. I can tell you that those throw raws there aren't getting a lot of touchdowns. That looks like 2 MVPs and 0 SPP on the other. So my guess is there's not going to be a lot of ball handling here unless it's by a Tomb Guardian who's going to get a touchdown. But I'll still take Iron Man. I think he's gotten to a point now where his team is consistently breaking heads, and this is probably his sweet spot. So yeah, I'll take him.
Yeah. So actually, this throw raw has one MVP and then one touchdown and one casualty.
Oh, Cash. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have to break tradition, and I'm gonna have to agree with you. I don't see how Dead Monkey wins this game.
Oh.
He's just gonna get outbashed. He's a bashing team. Um, yeah, and
Well,
he
so
just
normally you just throw red dice at these Tomb Guardians, but the problem is they all have Mighty Blow now. And so if you start throwing red dice with your blockers and they don't work out, that could be a very, very bad thing. And you could lose pieces during your turn, which you really don't ever want to do.
let's see, where is it at? It's at it is at where are we at?
Oh, that's funny.
It's at
Gengar went with the security gate. He didn't go with the referee rest area.
Yeah, but it's at unaccompanied
So
minors.
there's no riots and pitch invasions if you play at Gengar's house.
Yeah, but it's at the Minos home stadium. And he doesn't have an enhancement. I was gonna say it's too bad if he can get Knuffles Alter, because he can get that Fire Blast guy. And you get a Knuffles Alter Fire Blast guy, it's 20,000, and then you get a bunch of fucking bribes, and then you have an extra piece to foul, and you have a bunch of bribes.
Right.
I mean he's only like 70,000. Fire Blast is super cheap. I still might get him, and then he's got a secret weapon, so he's only good once, but you use him and you just foul.
The thing that really killed Step Monkey for me is he's got 0 Mighty Blow on his entire team.
Yeah.
And so even against these AV7 skeletons, he's still going to have a hard time removing pieces.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you, and it hurts my soul to say that. But there we go. Dead Monkey, you have an uphill battle, but you got a bunch of inducements.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
Yeah, even a broken clock is right twice a day. We'll see if Dead Monkey can pull it out with the inducements. Your game.
Yeah, my game is the Bretonian Bowl, which is between the Baywatch Knights versus Resistance is Feudal. And I was actually excited from this game from the very start because we have two very different Bretonian teams. One is in their second season, and it had a lot of skills to start, although they got trimmed a little bit. And the other one is the Inducement team by Ravenpoe. So this is going to be really, I think, the real test for Ravenpoe to see if he can make his inducement game work. And then getting Shiggy with it has still 2 strength ups because, every good Brett team needs to have stat ups. And they just happen to get them. Yeah. It's like it's hard coded into the game, conspiracy theory. But yeah, they have a couple of strength ups there. They've got, their star player, Countless Opportunities, who's niggled, but sure hands blodge, strength 4.
Strength 4 blodge. Like, it doesn't matter if he's niggled.
It's basically, honestly, that's a Griff right there with Dauntless and Catch. It's his own Griff.
If he had sprint and sure feet. Yeah, he's sick. So, your game, that means I get to pick first, right?
Sure.
I am going to take Resistance is Feudal, even though he's giving away the SPP, and I'm telling you why. I'm picking him because of Hand of the Hand, and because of if an Ore Butler's about it, and then because of Bows and Almond. I don't care what star player that fucking Ravenpoe gets, he's gonna get fucking stepped on.
And I believe the response is, let me tell you why you're wrong.
That's correct.
Sir David the Hoff also has a strength up. There's guard on this Bretonian team for Ravenpoe, which I don't believe there's much guard over there.
No.
And he's got a dirty player, but I'm also gonna go with the hidden coach factor of Ravenpoe knowing his stuff. And just like last week, he predicted Ravenpoe was gonna snake something out just on experience. I'm gonna.
I picked that correctly. If I remember, if memory serves.
You did, and so now you're just turning your back on him, like nothing ever happened. And you know what? I learned my lesson, so I'm gonna go with Ravenpoe.
Okay. There's a difference between last week and this week. So the reason Dirty Player is so strong in this particular matchup is because Ravenpoe's got 3 blockers, and those guys are gonna wrestle themselves down to get fucking fouled. So, I mean, there's
1 and 9s don't ever happen. I don't know what you're talking about.
There are gonna be fucking bodies all over the floor, and then fucking Shiggy he's a good coach. When he gets time to fucking look into a game and do some research, he's a great coach. He loves to foul, and he is going to foul the piss out of Ravenbow. Just and then Ravenbow, I mean, he's got to get what 4 loners, 3 loners.
She doesn't have any guard.
He doesn't need any guard. He's got 2 strength 4 pieces.
All right.
I'm not worried. Shiggy.
I have no doubt that Ravenpoe will also have 2 strength 4 characters, and he might even have a strength 5.
Well, he's not getting that much of a
Might just
nuisance.
zug
That's
it.
what I'm trying to tell you. He's gonna get 3 loners, so that's 120. 120. So his team value is gonna be 1120. Let's check out the leaderboard. 1120 versus where is Shiggy? 1330. So he's only getting like 220.
Whose house is it? They watch Knight's house. So that is. Does he have the star altar?
Probably doesn't.
He doesn't yet. Okay. No, he doesn't yet. I'm surprised he didn't, because that's like his whole team gimmick. He must just had too many losses. But, yeah, it's.
I mean,
So it's no Griff game, but
he can't even afford Zug.
no, he can't. He's gonna go bribes them. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I correctly predicted the Ravenpoe game last week. Thank you, Ravenpoe, for proving me right against the Satan Dwarfs. But this week you're in trouble. This week you're in trouble. Hey man,
What's funny is both of them have 2 rerolls and no leader, so that'll be fun too.
that happens a lot.
A lot
to
of
Reds.
turns.
As soon as they lose their leader, they struggle to get another one.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny. I've seen that happen up and down the Rebel. So tell me, as we wrap up, tell me how your streaming with your wife went about taxes or whatever the fuck you guys did.
Well, actually, I don't know if you saw in the Discord, but we had a surprise this weekend that kind of changed our weekend plans. My wife is actually pregnant for the first time, so that kind of threw a curveball at us.
Wait, so she's pregnant, so she can't be on TV?
Well, we were planning on doing like a day stream, and instead we decided to do something else with our day. So we just decided not to do the stream.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Boy or girl, Trunkhead's a great name. Call it Little Trunkhead.
Little Trunkhead. Okay, I'll remember that.
Little Trunkhead. You have anything coming up this week?
We'd still like to do that stream. I don't know if we're going to commit to that yet because we've got so much other shit going on right now. But just good matches. I'm back in the hunt. Owned, lost to Iron Master. So
I hear a
fun game there.
In your voice there, man.
I can't wait to rub that next time I talk to him. But yeah, so I am still in the hunt. I actually have this week I play High Elves, and the next week I play Lideus' Fruity Kisses. So back-to-back elves for me to kill.
Who just took a 3-0 fucking beating from fucking Wedge.
Yep. Oh, I was deliciously hearing the salt in that channel when that happened. So yeah, I'm anxiously awaiting my next 2 weeks to see basically if I win this 2, I'm probably in the playoffs.
Yeah, so you got Arches, Elves, and then who do you have? You said you got.
And then the last, so Lideus, and then my last one is Grizoot, who's the lizard team, which I always do well against lizards. So yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident as long as I can get around these guys that I do have a playoff shot.
Even losing your best piece. So yeah, man, Owen took a tough one that time, and I like Owen. Owen's my boy. No, he was a little disappointed in that game. Riley Reed's out for this game. Who are you playing? You're playing High Elves.
Not another anime sports team. Yeah, he's got a lot of. Well, he's got a couple of niggles too, but he's got a lot of AV7s. So I'm not. I just have to not let him score too much, but otherwise, I think I can handle it. I got 3.
Yeah,
I think
one of them's out for the game.
Oh, and when the other one died, that's right. Well, I got my killer. My killer puts in work.
RGXL's a good coach, brother. Just throwing that out there.
I know. I played him in Clan recently, but I'm feeling confident. Confident.
All right. That's good. My team has been out of it for a minute, so I don't. I'm considering whether I should re-roll or not. And actually, if you guys are listening here and you want to give me some input, and Superfed, you can give me some 411. I'm considering going back to Dark Elves. And I think this.
I was just gonna say, I think I can hear it in your voice when you talk about Dark Elves and talk about humans. you're already off the fence. I think
Well,
you've already decided.
I play humans in 2 leagues, right? I play humans in BC2, and I play humans here in 2 Eternal leagues, and I think it's too much. Um, and
Too
then
much heartache.
yeah, they're a tough team, man. You really have to. There's games that you should win that you just don't
Yep,
when you play humans.
that's that's my take as well. I don't think I ever have the stomach for them, so I
Yeah.
would not fault you for dropping this one.
So I love it, and I love my team, but yeah, I basically narrowed it down to Dark Elves, Nurgle, or Undead because I'm really good with Undead too. And I don't have experience in Nurgle, but Nurgle's a really good
There's
league.
such a huge lack of undead teams in Rebel in general. And Lich is dropping his, which is like the highest TV one in that I think all the leagues. So yeah, that would be fine too. I think you'd do well with that.
Yeah, well, the problem is I think a lot of people the reason they drop Undead is because they get to high TV, then they get clawed to shit. But the thing with
Right,
Undead is you're not supposed to play them at high TV. You want to max out
right,
between 15 and 1800. You don't want to go higher than 1800 with Undead, because
right,
then the way you play the undead is you get all your TV and whites and mummies, and then you just get a bunch of zombies and foul the fuck out of people, and that's how you win games.
right.
So when you see that, I think a lot of people get discouraged with undead because they start out so hard out of the box, and you dominate everything because you have all this mighty blow and all this strength and shit. But as the teams develop, and you try to keep pace with that development, then you bloat your team unnecessarily, and then you can't compete because your team doesn't build as well as they do. Um,
Hmm.
so late season undead is more successful if you just keep your TV trimmed around 15 to 1800, and then use those no skill zombies. Just fill up your roster with fucking zombies, carry a full bench, and then just foul the shit out of people. So I think
Considering the amount of rerolls for next season, I think that if you're gonna, there's probably gonna be a one season run team that wins the championship, and I think an undead team would be a great one.
yeah, I mean even if it's not a one team run, like if you're gonna re-roll, next season's the team to do it because everybody's gonna re-roll for LE. The people who are gonna re-roll for LE are gonna do it, and a lot of those legendary edition teams aren't very strong, so you have a really
Right.
good opportunity to develop a team. Like if you wanted to develop a Nurgle team next season, that's the season to do it because you're probably gonna get more SPP than you would otherwise in your first season.
I'm already talking chaos, so I'm right there with you.
Yeah, you strike me as a chaos team, as chaos coach. Dwarfs, orcs, chaos, base and bash, base and bash, base and bash. Yeah, you tried to play
We'll
elves and you
see.
got stomped.
We'll see.
That's all I got. You got anything else, man?
That's it.
All right, thanks for watching, guys. See you next week. See ya.